I do feel like every time I do a video like this, it needs to come with a disclaimer that I'm not actually mad, and you have just listened to me talk about my dog for it's only 20 minutes. So you're not mad either. And together we made art. So I guess it's time to doodle. I'm going to be using my POSCA pen today. You'll have to forgive this little sketch on the left. It was done in a pub when I was teaching some people. Well, actually, before I was teaching some people, the day before. But when I was meeting the people I was teaching. What we're doing today is a simple bit of imaginary doodling. So I'm going to just start by roaming the page. I'm quite enjoying this little line I've got going. But let's kind of mix it up. So the pen I'm using, by the way, is a POSCA pen. It's a 0.7mm extra fine POSCA pen, and it means we can do some fun things. So we can do this medium line. We can do a really gentle line, which isn't hugely different. Oh, there you go. Got a nice bit of difference there. But we can also do these really big, brave, bold lines. Fantastic for kind of doodling around the page and creating something fun and different. So I've been doing a lot of sort of fluid doodling recently, not much kind of grossly geometric. So let's sort of see what happens if we just create something a little bit more geometric. So that's why I'm just sort of wandering around with these straight lines and seeing what happens, because when stuff starts to happen, you can then like act on it. And in the meantime, the mind can wander. So my big wonder today is, when I came in the door, why did Betty have zoomies? So Betty had been alone for maybe 2 hours, Betty being my dog, which hopefully you got from the zoomies reference. Betty's saying hello there. I keep saying her name, a bit mean. She does know her name, so she knows I'm talking about her. But if I come in and she has zoomies, almost invariably that means she's managed to uproot a bin somewhere. Often she manages to sort of get in my bin, which is full of art stuff, because I forget to hide it away. We put the kitchen bin on the side, but if we've forgotten to do that, she'll have found a way in. A good way, if you're a dog, by the way, to keep yourself entertained is going through a bin. Now the challenge is, bear with me, this has no relevance to the art, by the way. This is just me having a chat to myself. But perhaps we'll get there. Perhaps we'll develop some relevance. Anyway, the thing is, she knows how to open the bins. So when I said the bin has been uprooted, what I actually mean is she's taken stuff out of the bin. And yet, normally, if she's got, like, she's really excited when we get home, it's because she's done that. Or something equivalent. Stolen some bread off the side, or broken into something she knows she isn't allowed to and wouldn't dream of doing if we were in the house. But today, I got in, she had some good going zoomies, she went a bit mental, ran into the sort of sliding doors because they're glass, and if she's excited she forgets that glass exists even if she can't immediately see it, which was all very upsetting. Actually, she didn't care. I was going to say it was upsetting. I found it very amusing and I was a little bit like, I hope you're okay. She didn't care, but yeah, nothing in the house amiss. So I'm really wondering what she did do. And I strongly suspect it was something. But I suppose if I don't know, it can't hurt me. Anyway, I think with all that talking, this is starting to build up, isn't it? What I'm trying to do is get just kind of like contrast on the page. So like blocks of stuff that's visually appealing to me. Might not be visually appealing to you. Might not be visually appealing to me tomorrow, but with all of this, I'm able to practice my little pen drawing ideas. I'm able to unwind and relax. I'm able to like waffle. If I wasn't waffling, perhaps I'd be listening to an audiobook or, you know, something along those lines. Do love an audiobook. Love to hear as well, you know, what people make of doing stuff like this. Because it's not normally what I show on my channel, but I do a lot of doodle stuff on my channel. I guess it's like something I've been doing the last few months and just enjoying. And incorporating it into stuff as well, incorporating it into scenes. It's actually, I mean, you can probably recognise the ideas, like the little sort of meandering, swirling lines as things you've seen that I like doing. Just now I don't have to have an excuse for it, which is wonderful, I must say. So just coming down, making some shapes, eventually telling myself a little story. Maybe the story will end up being about what Betty did. Maybe this is a map. I like that idea. When you get a little idea in your head, you can sort of follow it around, can't you? So yeah, look, these are Betty's footprints. There we go. We can do that now. We can make them into Betty's footprints, and then Betty's little nose over here. She knows what she's doing. No, oh, terrible pun. I'm not sure if that was a pun or not. Is that a pun or just the same word twice? Betty's nose, she knows what she's doing. I suspect it doesn't count as a pun, but if it does, I'll take credit. And then where do her feet go? Let's put some more feet over here, a little bit more feet, and then her tail can emerge. There you go. Betty's little tail. Tell you what she did do. We'll pop her teeth in. There you go, little blooming fangs when she feels like it. She had a bit of butt floof. So for those who aren't dog owners or aren't owners of dogs who have sort of double coated dogs, so Betty's half husky, so she's got this double coat. Well, they get little bits of floof that you can pull out. It's unbelievably satisfying. You know, she had a really big chunk of butt floof coming out of her bum. Not literally coming out of her bum, obviously, but you know, out of her behind, above her tail, or to the side of her tail. And I pulled it out. And she didn't like it. She felt it was overstepping the boundaries of what's reasonable in our relationship, let's call it. And although she never bites, well, anyone actually. She's an anxious little lass, but she never bites anyone. But what she does do, if she's anxious about something, in particular I've done, because I do a lot of playing with her, is she turns it into a game. And that game often involves aspects of my appendages being in her mouth. So she immediately turned around and decided that my hand should be in her mouth and she would chew on it. Not in a painful way, in a like tail wagging, if I turn this into a game you'll stop being mean to me way. And so it's kind of my fault. But there you go. It was a good bit of butt floof and it did need to come out because otherwise it would have ended up on the carpet and then Tash would have been upset with all of us because Tash is away. And if Tash is not in it, if Tash comes back and finds the house a mess, oh dear. No, she's not that bad. She'll just look at me a bit disappointed. Like, I knew you'd do this. Anyway, so this sort of Betty's day out, I suppose, is what we're calling this now, isn't it? So perhaps maybe I should start doodling within this. Some kind of bin. There we go. That's what our recycling bin looks like. It's a little sort of very classic binny bin from IKEA. So there's our bin. A little bit of hatching just for funsies. Why don't we put another bin in next to it as well? Little repeating patterns I find quite appealing. I think most of us find it quite appealing. there's supposed to be a sort of quite significant mental health benefit from looking at repeating patterns like pine cones in nature. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure, but I like the concept. So there you go, there's Betty's bin, Betty's mouth. Go on then, let's keep waffling about Betty, because you just don't hear enough about her on every single one of my videos. So when we leave her out, it's quite an ordeal for us. She gets very excited. She used to get very stressed, and now it's the opposite. She's very excited. If we pick up our bags, if Tash goes into the drawer where she keeps her keys, if I dare touch any keys, Betty runs straight into her crate. Now we don't lock her in her crate. It's just a little dark corner that she can exist in. And what she knows is that she's going to get a little treat, and that will be in her crate. And then we're off finding kongs, which look something like this. Little like stacked donuts, I guess, which you stuff with stuff. So we stuff them with yogurt and kibble, and sometimes little frankfurters which stick out the end. Then we freeze them, and that keeps Betty entertained and out, we hope, of the bins. So she gets one of those. I know if we're only going for like an hour, she'll probably just get one of those. She may not even get one of those, the poor lass. She may just go looking for one, and it's nowhere to be found. But there's more. And, you know, of course there's more, otherwise why would she be so excited? What we also do is we get a t-shirt. So here's a t-shirt. I must not confess. We've let away some of my secrets. No, not confess. I must say it's not a t-shirt that we have in active human circulation. What we do is we've got old t-shirts which we would otherwise throw away, including lots from like family and things, because with those t-shirts we literally roll them up, tie them up, so they're in a kind of a knot, something like that, and inside the knot is loads and loads of kibble. So there you go, this is now kibble raining down, which again lets me just doodle. So, I mean, no one's going to understand this reference. You probably don't even understand this reference, and I'm talking to you about it right now. But there you go, Betty's little trail of kibble. Maybe we can give some more little Betty footprints here. They can be more like paw prints now. Now that we've decided that this is the sort of nature of this doodle. There we go, they're getting bigger and bigger till they fall off the edge of the page. We've got this kind of fun little story emerging now, haven't we? So I'm going to just go back to like mindlessly overlapping things and just repeating some of these ideas. You know, there's areas, aren't there, with lots of space, and it's nice to fill up that space sometimes, and just kind of makes the whole thing feel more deep and impressive if there's more boldness going on. So like finding places we can just inject a bit more busyness to, maybe, whilst I sort of wait for my brain to catch up. My brain got a lot of excitement just then, thinking of silly things. There we go. And we can kind of just dangle some lines between. Maybe this is a cloud. Kind of has a feeling of a cloud, doesn't it? Not that clouds have lines in, but this kind of like, ooh, this whooshy feel behind. Something like a cloud anyway. Going to give it a bit of a bold edge in here. That stops it being a cloud, but makes me feel happy. Oh, there you go, there's a big bold bit of ink. Didn't mean for that to happen, but if you've done it once, just repeat the idea and it becomes on purpose, right? There's no real mistakes here in doodling. This was a tail, wasn't it? Let's do another tail. She has a funny tail, actually. There you go. It's not like, is it a funny tail? What it is it's an incredibly readable tail if you get to know her. She has very subtle body language in many ways. But just focus on her tail. If you ever meet Betty and you focus on her tail and it looks like this, then she's hunting. Or she's seen another dog. So if it's around, like looping back over. If, on the other hand, it's just like relaxed and flopped down, then she's sort of probably at home wandering around, or she's really tired. So I've taken her on like a 2-hour walk or longer, because it's only after that long that she even pretends to be a little bit tired. I think she just gets bored actually, because after 2 hours I don't let her sniff everything. So if it's down, she's probably a bit relaxed or bored. Then if it's more like straight with a little twist at the end, she's on some kind of mission. So that's what it's like when we, for example, if we run together, then a tail is like that. And these positions, I must say, we're looking at the static positions of her tail here. So if they're just like sat like that and not moving. Now we can go back away from my little ramblings and kind of inject a little bit more mindful, mindless doodling here. Just a bit more contrasting. Now the other positions of Betty tail, I can't think of how to, because they're all moving positions. It's all about how fast she's wagging, or how still it is. The other bits which are important are her ears, of course. She's very vocal, not like a husky vocal, more like a collie vocal. Like she squeaks a lot. So if I'm daring to walk her wearing headphones, for example, I'll often miss the cues that something's bothering her if I'm not like really focused on her, because a lot of the cues are related to squeaking. There's like a cat squeak, there's a postman squeak, and the postman thing is a real thing. It's very interesting with her. Anyone who's dressed like a postman, even if we are 2 miles away from home and she's tired, if they dare touch anybody's door, like she's really defensive of everyone's doors. If there's a postman touching a door in this country and Betty witnesses it, whoa, that postman has hell to pay. Betty will bark the street down and I'll have to drag her away. Ooh, managed to get a whole load of acrylic on my hand there from this bit over here. So for some reason this pen's just decided it's going to run really quite strongly. I think that's a word. Right. It's time to move on to the next step of creativity. So here I'm going to just label these little bits. So the footprints will be trail. Then here we've got communication device. We'll call it comms dev. There you go. I know what that means. You know what that means. Here we've got butt floof. I'm going to just change it to butts floof, because why not? Tasty, of course. A frozen yogurty Frankfurter with dried kibble. Here we called, this one is relaxed. We'll just put relax. Maybe I should just call this old. This is the t-shirt. Old. And I'm going to call this manna. As in the manna rained down from heaven. And this is Betty's kibble falling down. And here we'll put cheeky. There we go, cheeky. What Betty is. And the overall title will be Betty's Grand Day In. So Betty, and I'm going to make this writing a little bit more interesting. You might have seen me do this before, but I just sort of double down on some of the areas. It just makes it a tiny bit more fun. Does mean it takes a little while, but we're not in this game to rush, except when it's raining and we're trying to sketch outside. So Betty's grand there we go, we're getting there. Day, gonna get bigger now. In, I'll make that small because at heart I'm just a giant contrarian. Now, so those don't know contrarian, it's the act of having to be opposite. So, oh, I want a burger. Well, oh, I want a pizza. And then the next day, I want a pizza. Oh, well, I really want a burger. Why do we never get those? That's what Tash has to put up with. Apart from I do all the cooking, so that's a really bad example because I get to eat whatever I want. Apart from the guilt factor where I don't cook exactly what I want. There we go. Betty's Grand Day In. I quite enjoyed that. I do feel like every time I do a video like this, it needs to come with a disclaimer that I'm not actually mad, and you have just listened to me talk about my dog for it's only 20 minutes. So you're not mad either. And together we've made art.